in the Manila Bay and other bays that experience red tides, it is the marginalized that is affected in health and in economy.
In engineering is the ability to absorb, thrive, and then recover. The faster you're able to recover, the more resilient.
Sa Pilipino, ito ay katibayan at katatagan sa mahirap na sitwasyon at ang kakayahang bumangon muli.
Yung ecological naman, the ability to adapt. Yung evolutionary resilience, vale, to really innovate and be creative.
Resilience is really being able to spring back from adversity, but it should have learning. And therefore, it strengthens you to be more resilient than before the adversity came to you.
Before COVID-19, the Philippines was already on to SMT-based measures to improve its resilience capacity. With COVID, the country was awakened to the need for resilience of our economic, health, and educational status as well.
The country as a whole is, I think, not so resilient because while we have the capabilities, the opportunities, and the resources to cope with COVID-19, the whole body is suffering because the leadership and management is not working so well. When it comes to individual resilience, those who have more resources, capabilities, and opportunities will be more resilient than those who are not.
A lot of the problems really may be interconnected, vale. You have to look at it from a holistic point of view. It encompasses more than natural sciences or physical problem, vale, but also it gets into the ecological, biological, as well as social pa nga.
Among issues and problems we have are poverty, ecosystem destruction, climate change, and variability.
Much of our attention is placed only after the disasters happen. What we should do really is to take early action years before the hazard strikes, and we should put our attention and our resources into that type of planning.
We need SMT-based transdisciplinary and inclusive approach to coping with possible hazards.
The fragmentation of society needs to be resolved for resilience.
Communication is very, very important, and we should communicate to the people using not just scientific communication means, but through arts, music, understand the mindset of the Filipino people so we can communicate better.
Well, the way to move forward is interoperability.
So we have to do a lot of work as a person, as a community, and as an institution to really have resilience as one of the values of the Filipinos. Yung tunay na resilience na towards improvement.
Building resilience requires sustainability science inspired by transdisciplinary approach.
To be sustainable, you have to be resilient. To be resilient, you have to be sustainable.
Go natural, go with nature's flow. Non-structural or natural interventions, as well as good planning, is the most sustainable.
Finally, we need to harness and strengthen the Filipino spirit of bayanihan. Paul, you're muted.
Ay, thank you po, ma'am. Again, magandang hapon po sa ating mga kapatid sa Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. Para sa ating mga kapatid sa Luzon, mayapagat panapon, na yung bagamalam, masantos siyang araw, mahay na hapon. Para sa ating mga kapatid sa Visayas, maayong hapon, maopen nga kulop, maayong ugto. At para sa ating mga kapatid sa Mindanao, assalamualaikum, malingkat mahapon, mapiyak katuwa longan, at buenas tardes. Para sa ating mga panauhing banyaga, good afternoon, annyeonghaseyo, konnichiwa, salamat siyang, siyang wuhaw. Welcome po sa ating mga regular na tagapakinig at tagapanood dito sa Zuba sa ating Facebook Live. Hello po sa inyong lahat and welcome sa ating ka-54th episode ng the Filipino Sustainable Development Goals or SDG Action Hour. Ang ating lingguhang kumustahan at kwentuhan para sa maganda, maayos, mabuti at makabuluhang kinabukasan. Isa't kalahating oras na naman po ng hitik na talakayan ng mga usaping napapanood. At ngayong hapon nga po, this is a very important session since magsisilbi itong parang prelude para sa ating gaganaping national conference on exploring the water future of the Philippines next week. And ang mga detalye po nito ay i-announce na lang po namin sa ating Facebook page at email list. Ngayong hapon po, ating pag-uusapan ay 1. Mobilizing local communities for transformative SDG problem solving, and 2. Social laboratory briefing, a walk through the process chain from problem tree analysis to log frame. Actually, our two speakers need no long introduction kasi lagi talaga natin silang nakakasama. Kaya naman, para sa mas mahabang pag-uusap ngayong hapon, let me briefly introduce them. Ang una po nating speaker ay ang President ng Universities and Councils Network on Innovation for Inclusive Development in Southeast Asia or UNIDSEA at lecturer sa Development Studies Program, School of Social Science, Ateneo de Manila University. Please welcome Dr. Segundo Joaquin Doy Romero Jr. And for our second speaker, we have our very own project leader of the Future Earth Philippines program and Professor Emeritus at the Marine Science Institute of UP Diliman. Everyone, please welcome National Scientist Lourdes J. Cruz. Sir Doy, Ma'am Luli, the screen is yours.
Okay. I can't turn on my video.
Ayun po ma'am, pa-try na lang po ulit. Thank you po.
Ayan. Okay. So, this SDG Action Hour is an introduction to what we have been doing, what the FEP has been doing in Central Luzon, which is, so we are going to describe how we are trying to help with the flooding problems in Central Luzon. And before that, let me sort of remind everyone about the Future Earth Philippines, that we are part of the Future Earth International or Global Network of scientists, researchers, innovators, and concerned citizens who collaborate for a more sustainable planet. And we decided to form Future Earth Philippines because of the very low biocapacity and high ecological footprint that we have had for about more than 50 years. And so we have been running in a non-sustainable mode. And so the group of scientists and other stakeholders who got together and brainstormed on what to do about our ecological deficit. So we decided to form the Future Earth Philippines, and we had funding. We were able to get funding from the OST. And our urgent mission is to advocate and work for the participation of all sectors in a national effort to increase the country's biocapacity and to reduce its ecological footprint as a path to Philippine sustainability. And our vision is a progressive and resilient Philippines sustained by inclusive science and technology, innovation, and a culture of integrity, equity, and Filipino values.
Okay. Kakaroon ako ng problema. Ayan. So, our current focus is the flooding problems in the wetland and riparian towns of Pampanga and Bulacan. This area enclosed by the circle. So we have been to some of these places, and our aim is to mobilize local communities for transformative SDG problem solving, because we know that only if the local communities are involved, pwede nating masolve itong mga problema. Okay, and the guiding principles, in line with the guiding principles of Future Earth, are knowledge to action. That is, any actions should be based on knowledge. And then that the approach should be transdisciplinary from natural to social sciences. Inclusive, we have to talk and involve the different stakeholders. It should be a systems approach. So all the different aspects of the problem should be considered. And then futures thinking is it's like thinking about if we do something, what will be the effect of this in the long run. So this involved in this are scenario building, and then looking at unintended consequences of some actions or suggested actions. And then the process has to be reiterative, because the conditions change over the years. And so we must review the conditions and see if the plans that were, or the solutions that were proposed before are still appropriate. And then the governance should be adaptive based on the review process. Nagkakaproblema ako sa Ayun. So, on July 24, 2023, Typhoon Egay hit the Philippines. And so this strengthened Habagat. So we had several days of rain. And in August, the state of calamity was declared, and the state of calamity attracted wide media coverage and national attention on the plight of people in the wetland and riparian towns of Pampanga and Bulacan particularly. So these are the what you've seen in the newspapers, these houses that are submerged and people walking through the floods. But unknown to many, these towns have experienced worsening daily flooding as the high tide comes in, for the past decade or two. So hindi lang noong typhoon nagkaroon ng flood, although mas grabe noong nagka-typhoon, pero araw-araw, when the high tide comes in, bumabaha sa kanila, binabaha ang kanilang bahay. And according to them, the clogged drainage and siltation are among the problems, as well as sea level rise and land subsidence in the area. But the situation is certainly much more complex. So we're looking at flooding in Central Luzon as a wicked problem. Wicked problems are complex, multifaceted challenges characterized by their interconnected nature and ambiguity. And they are exceptionally difficult to address through traditional linear problem-solving methods. So we are exploring the flooding problem using three essential analytical tools: the problem tree analysis, objectives tree analysis, and during the national workshop, we will be drafting strategic pathways and strategic frameworks. So these methodologies offer a structured approach to understanding and addressing wicked problems with an emphasis on flexibility, adaptability, and multi-stakeholder collaboration. And so the first thing, actually, before the EGI happened, we had already visited communities in Bulacan and Pampanga. So these were done in June up to early July, and to look at the worsening daily floods in the area. And ito, in this picture, this is Dada, Doble, at ito kami susunod-sunod sa kanya as we're walking down towards the house. Tapos, and as you see here, ito na ang situation nila. And dito gumagamit na sila ng bamboo walkways. And dito, here's a barangay hall. Ito na yung, they raised the street, so naiwan yung barangay hall. But in many places, you see the streets that have been elevated every 5 years. Sabi nila, pinapataas yung mga kalye. And ngayon, yung mga windows nila, yun na ang kalibel ng kalye. And when water comes in, naabot yun sa bahay, pero hindi na makalabas yung tubig dahil ang taas na nung kalye na nag-a-act as like dikes. Hindi na makatalabas yung tubig dahil may kalye na nakaharang. Okay, so yun ang nangyayari. We visited mga 10 to 12 communities in Pampanga and Bulacan. And this is a summary of the feedbacks that we got. Sabi ng LGU, efforts to address the flooding problems include dikes and raising of the roads every 5 years. However, they also believe this is a temporary solution and a better long-term and inclusive plan must be crafted. Sabi nila, wala silang magawa kundi yun lang ang afford nilang gawin. And the residents say that they are aware that only those with enough financial capacity can add upper floors in their houses to serve as living quarters. They usually abandon the lower floors as these get flooded every time the tide comes in. Others give up and just abandon their houses completely. And those with limited finances seek refuge with their relatives or community facilities when there are typhoons and massive flooding. But despite these problems, some residents refuse to leave their communities. Yun ang mahirap intindihin, because they said this is where they have spent all their lives. Ang sanitation is a problem because septic tanks get submerged. And so, mataas ang coliform level in the rivers. And sa schools, there's frequent suspension of classes and absences and daily exposure of children to floodwaters on the way to school. So we did a series of consultations, may face-to-face, dalawa yung big face-to-face consultation, then we had Zoom consultations. So this was the first one, and we used the yung mural to get their inputs, but in addition to using the mural for the whole, for everybody in the room, nagkaroon din ng group sessions, may kanya-kanya silang mga discussions tungkol sa problems. And so andyan ng mga, si Che is from the OST3 and Director Sikat of the OST3 also, and here are scientists from UP, and Eugene is from Iloilo. And this is RD Nerissa of NEDA, Region 3. So Mahar and Ando, ito naman ako, at saka si Greg Del Pilar of Social Sciences. And This is the second workshop after we did already had a draft of the problem tree, and this Che Kiambao of PSTO Pampanga is the one who's presented the problem tree. And here again are our resource persons, si Juan Benny Pacheco, Doy Romero, Anadel Cabanban of Wetlands International, and then from DA, the different DA, NEDA, and DNR, and represented. And this is Congresswoman Anna York, who is from Macabebe, one town that gets flooded every day. So here are the people who are presenting their outputs. Ito. Okay, so this is the problem tree that resulted from the multi-stakeholder consultation, represented local governments, the government agencies, regional and provincial. And there were people from the academe, merong taga-NGO, and ito ang the initial problem tree was reviewed a couple of times via Zoom meeting and then organized. And the central problem that was identified is the worsening, widening, and persistent flooding in Pampanga and Bulacan towns. And the causes that were cited for this are the excessive rainfall, clogged drainage system, soil erosion, heavily silted rivers and waterways, ground subsidence, sea level rise in Manila Bay, and obstruction of natural drainage system. And so these are the first level causes. Tapos, ano yung cause nitong cause na ito? So like, for example, dito sa obstruction of natural drainage system, andyan yung illegal fish pond structures. And, hindi ko ba, large, and then yung mga large placement of large infrastructure na wala sa lugar. But, when we presented this nung second workshop, meron din taga Bureau of Fisheries doon. Sabi nila, wala namang illegal fish ponds. Dahil lahat ng may fish ponds, may lisensya from the government. Parang in-approve nila. So there must be something wrong, siguro, this approval process. And then, if you look at the others, of course, yung excessive rainfall dito, and we are looking at that as the effect of climate change. And then itong ground subsidence, andyan yung over-extraction of groundwater. And dito, ito yung cause ng ground subsidence. And as a third level cause is poor enforcement of environmental laws and regulations. And so, lahat yan, may kanya-kanya. May first level cause, second level, third level, fourth level, fifth, and the sixth level. At the sixth level, andyan yung lack of government and government officials and citizen understanding of what is happening, of the geophysical causes of the flooding. And also the lack of government commitment, to give resources and efforts in helping try to solve the problem. So, andyan yan, kabit-kabit yan. And so, understanding the problem is, we think is the first step to accept that there's really a problem and these are the causes, yun ang kailangan natin. And then among the causes then ng dito sa mga heavily silted waterways, soil erosion, na nandito sa mga ito, yung ito, denuded upstream watershed, and because of indiscriminate logging and quarrying. Nag-react dito ang DENR. Nilagyan nila ito in the second workshop. Pinaskilan nila ito ng note na delete. But the ARDCBAL of the OST3 said, these are the inputs of the people, so hindi natin yan pwedeng ma-delete kasi input nila yan eh. Hindi natin pwedeng pakialaman yung kanilang inputs. And then dito naman sa taas, so ayan yung mga causes hanggang sa kaduluduluhan nga itong tinirace. So nasa sa tao, both government and the citizens. Yun ang problema talaga, root causes of all these problems. And then of course, bukod doon sa climate change. And then, ano naman ang consequences nito? So yung worsening flood, what was done was to divide the consequences into areas like flooded streets, flooded schools, flooded houses, flooded government offices, flooded fields and workspaces, flooded commercial, religious, cultural, and social spaces. And here, merong kang first level consequence, second level consequence, third level, fourth level, and fifth level. And ang final cause niyan, ang consequence rather, is they all lead to poor quality of life of people in the flooded towns of Pampanga and Bulacan. Okay, so after we constructed the problem tree, ito naman yung objectives 3. So, andito, instead of yung center problem, nakalagay ngayon, diminishing, limiting and abating of flood conditions in Pampanga and Bulacan towns. So, para yung kabaliktaran ng problema dapat. But we have we tinted this itong tungkol sa excessive rainfall and sea level rise in Manila Bay kasi hindi natin this is beyond our control, itong dalawang ito. It has to be a worldwide, it's really a worldwide concern. So, ang pwede nating matignan ay itong alin ba dito sa mga problemang ito, causes, ang kaya nating pwedeng maggawan ng tao ng paraan. O pwedeng dapat may mag-commit na agency na ito will be in charge of this. Or pwedeng mag-commit din ang mga nasa academe na, makakatulong kami dito. We can do some research, to try to see kung paano natin masosolve itong problema. Okay, so yan. And then, after the objectives 3, yung sa conference, si Doy Romero will lead the and explain after me today yung how does one do the strategic pathways, frameworks, and on into the log frame. So the aim of this series of activities is to demonstrate a regional systems approach to a wicked problem, which is science-based, innovative, inclusive, and transdisciplinary. We suggest the reiteration of the process about every 5 years or as needed for the adaptive management of the vital water resources of Central Luzon. But in between these 5 years, dapat we do there's now for the coastal areas na de-develop ngayon yung Coast Card. An assessment of the conditions, social, physical, biological, and even environmental justice. Assessment of these parameters every year para matingnan kung ano nagiging progress. And then maybe 5 years tignan talaga ng todo-todo, dapat na ba mag-iba ng plano o ano pa ang dapat gawin para maging on track tayo to sustainability. And then we also want to urge our leaders and other stakeholders to try applying the approach to other complex wicked problems of local and national importance in view of Philippine resilience and sustainability as we strive for better futures for our country and the Filipino generations to come. So I hope you will be able to join us on November 28th at the National Multi-Stakeholder Conference on Exploring the Water Futures of the Philippines. So we will have participants from Pampanga and Bulacan coming, and we are inviting and the others to also come. I hope some of the academicians will also go and will work with us in trying to see ano ba pwede nating ma-suggest na solutions and magkakaroon ng workshop and so on. So with that, this is my final slide showing this is wedding cake representation of the SDGs, emphasizing the role of a healthy biosphere as a foundation for sustainability of the society and the economy. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much po, Ma'am Luli. I think andito po Sir Doy for the second part of the presentation. Sir Doy?
Yes, magandang hapon po. Ako ba'y naririnig ninyo?
Yes po, Sir Doy.
Okay, so naibigay na ni Doc Luli yung background nung ginawa namin na tulong sa pag-intindi doon sa problema ng flooding sa Pampanga and Bulacan gamit ang isang string of standalone methods that are available for workshops and analytical processes, but we put them together into a strategy for mobilizing local community action. So, ipakita ko lang yung aking screen. Pasensya na at ang aking mga aso ay medyo maingay. Okay, so basically, can you see my screen?
It's small.
It's small. Wow. Okay.
Very small.
Ang liit.
Yeah. So let me bring it into a perhaps a bigger. Okay. So let me reshare my screen so that I might be able to share it.
Lumaki na ng konti.
You can see it now. Maybe let's see. I have to bring this.
Lumaki na. Pwede pang palakihin pa uli ng konti.
Okay, let me bring this here. Oh, nope. So let me just share this other screen. It might be better that way. So let me just stop my share and then share screen again. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Oo, yeah.
Is it better?
It's better.
Okay, so we are talking about the National Workshop on Convergent Strategic Pathways for Transformative Community Problem Solving. So gusto namin yung word na convergent strategic pathways kasi we are thinking that different stakeholders can choose which is their set of solutions that they are going to contribute to the solution of the entire problem. But they need to be convergent. And the total effort should be a transformative community problem-solving approach. In this case, to the case of flooding in Pampanga and Bulacan. So nabigay na ni Doc Luli yung background, field observation of flooding problem in Pampanga and Bulacan, appreciating scientific perspectives on the flooding problem. Then we went through partial problem trees by issue or stakeholder in several workshops. And then we consolidated the problem tree into a comprehensive problem tree. Ito yung pinakita ni Doc Luli na talaga namang pag meron kang na-identify na problema tungkol sa flooding sa Pampanga and Bulacan, ay hanapin mo dyan at makikita mo. Kung hindi mo makita, ibigay nyo sa amin at idadagdag namin doon sa problem tree. Di ba? Okay. But from that problem tree analysis, which has a logic, cause and effect, all the way down from causes into the consequences, binaliktad lang po namin yung mga problema so that they become now objectives. Okay, so they become objectives, and we presented that comprehensive problem tree and comprehensive objective tree to the multi-stakeholder workshop that we had in Bulacan, in Pampanga, with Bulacan and other participants. So tanggap naman nila yon. So we now have ownership over this problem tree, and which makes it a powerful problem tree and objective tree. Pinresent din po namin yan last month, or I think early this month, sa Regional Development Council, yung full council meeting ng Region 3, pinresent po namin yan. Kami ang unang nag-present. So lahat ng kanilang mga pinresenta na mga projects and programs nila, they were referencing our problem tree. So ang ganda po nung nangyari. So we have now an understanding with the Regional Development Council and the members that we will move forward by using this problem tree as a way of converging and aligning the activities of the various sectors towards the solution of flooding in Pampanga and Bulacan. So ano po yung gusto natin gawin dyan sa national workshop? First, we are going to formulate and map the strategic pathway. Ano po ba yung strategic pathway na yan? So let me, ibigay ko lang po ito, and then I will go into that strategic pathway basically. So workshop 1 is formulating and mapping the strategic pathways of stakeholders. Yung strategic pathway po ay it is a string of objectives na nanggaling dun sa objective 3, where a particular stakeholder group thinks na mandate nila, toka nila, contribution nila. So they select maybe 3 or 4 objectives, a string of these objectives dun sa problem tree, na sa palagay nila ay nasa kanilang mandate, sa kanilang resources, sa kanilang skills at kanilang interest. So that is an objective tree. A strategic pathway. So gusto nila na yan ang gagawin nila. Ngayon, ang susunod dyan ay to map out all of these strategic pathways. Anong strategic pathway ng national government agencies? Anong strategic pathway ng local government agencies? Ano ang strategic pathway ng civil society and private sector organizations? Anong strategic pathway ng state universities and colleges? So far, ito po yung 4 na nakita namin na maaaring maging groupings dyan sa national workshop natin sa 28. At sa bawat grupo ay makakaroon ng strategic pathway. So, pag tinignan natin yung mga strategic pathway na yan, siyempre, iba-ibang areas dun sa problem 3 o objective 3 ang kanilang pinagtutuunan ng pansin. Pero makikita natin yung convergence nila, yung kanilang possibility ng cooperation, kung let's say nag-overlap yung strategic pathways nila, at makikita din natin yung kakulangan na mukhang di sa mga objectives na to, walang tumotoka, walang nagsasabi na gagawin nila. So those will be gaps that we will now fill by asking other stakeholders to jump in and take care of those. So that there will be a whole of nation, whole of government, whole of society approach to the problem solving as far as Pampanga and Bulacan is concerned. And if we adopt this particular convergent strategic pathways method, we can also apply this to each of the SDG areas or problems. But basically, it is a tool for owning a problem in its big picture version, and for each of the stakeholders to accept and assign themselves a specific area, and that these specific areas, when you put them together, they are really solving in a convergent, consolidated way the problem at hand. So it is really an alignment and mobilization method. So ngayon, hindi na mag-aaway na, ang tingin ko sa problema ito, problem A, cause A, hindi, ganito yan, cause B, ganito yan, cause C. Wala na po yun kasi antemano, there is an understanding and acceptance of a single problem tree. Okay, so let me now go to illustrate what it is that I am saying here, and let me show my diagram. Can you see my diagram now?
Hindi ba po, Sir Doy? Yung workshops pa din pinaka-flash.
Okay, so I think I need to let me end my sharing. I'll have a new share. And my new share is about okay, can you
Maliit.
see my screen now?
Ayan. Oo.
Okay, so basically, we were saying that we will identify the stakeholders. Actually, yung problem tree na pinresent ni Doc Luli, imagine na ninyo na this is the basic form. Diba? Ganyan siya. Na meron tayong causes, meron tayong problems, and meron tayong effects. Okay, pero yung nakita ninyo na ginawa ni pinresent ni Doc Luli is really so much more comprehensive. But this is just the basic form of the problem tree that we presented to our workshops. And then just so it is comprehensive, sabi namin na pag tinutukoy ninyo yung mga causes, ay siguraduhin ninyo na i-check ninyo meron bang sociocultural cause, meron bang technological cause, meron bang economic, environmental, political, legal, educational, security. So, ang mnemonic namin dito yung steeples. Okay? At kaya po naging napakayabong ng naging tree na yan, both at the roots and at the consequences, kasi ginamit po itong categories na ito. At ang sabi nga natin ay nandyan yan, pero doon sa itaas, we wanted to make sure that there was an understanding of 3 levels of consequences. Consequences for families, consequences for communities, and consequences for the nation. Sinunod din po namin yan. So makikita ninyo yung consequences sa family, sa community, sa nation, doon sa problem 3. Okay, so tapos na po tayo dyan. And then, anong nangyari susunod? Binaliktad lang po namin yung mga nakasaad dyan sa problem 3 para lumabas yung tinatawag naming objectives. So, in this particular diagram na ginamit namin, river water quality is deteriorating, yung focal problem nila. Ang kabaliktaran lang yan, river water quality is improved, is now an objective. Hindi ho ba? Pero ang kagandahan yan, if we just stick to reversing the problems as worded, then the logic of the problem 3 becomes the logic of the objective 3. Kasi yung cause and effect will be the same. Huwag lang po nating gawin na iniiba natin yung wording kasi nilalagyan na natin ng technical solutions. Wala pa po tayo dyan. We are just trying to identify the objectives. Okay. So ngayon, ito po yung idea ng strategic pathway. Sorry. Dito po, makikita ninyo yung nasa yellow, parang doon sa buong strategic doon sa buong objective 3, titignan mo yung mga problema, alin ba dyan ang kaya mong solusyonan? Dahil, let's say tayo ay mga educators, di ba? So, parang ang angkop na strategic pathway sa atin is, umpisahan natin doon sa baba, public information, education programs are available. Ayan, kaya natin yan. So that the population is aware of the danger of waste dumping, so that low levels of solid waste are dumped into the river, and so that the river water quality is improved, and there is low incidence of waterborne diseases and illnesses. So yung yellow pong yan is a strategic pathway. Ngayon, ang kailangan gawin is yung strategic pathway na yan, ito po yung A, B, C, D, E. Yun na pinili. So nakikita din nyo yung mga arrows. There is an arrow from A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to E. Ang susunod na gagawin yan, okay, alam mo na yung strategic pathway mo. Anong kailangan mong gawin para ma-operationalize mo yan? So we are now helping our stakeholders imagine ano ba kailangan mong gawin para makamit natin yung objectives na yan. So dito po ay ibinangga namin yung balance scorecard approach. Some of you are familiar with this. Ang sinasabi ng balance scorecard approach, kailangan mong tukuyin ano yung mga financial na kailangan mong gawin patungkol sa resource generation and management. And then, tukuyin mo yung mga customer-oriented initiatives mo, like engaging them and getting them to participate, tell us their needs and so on. And then, kailangan din po natin ng mga processes. Ito yung mga internal business processes, methods, and tools that we need to convert the inputs into outputs. And then kailangan natin ng learning and growth initiatives. Ito naman yung mga, staff capability enhancement, institutional capacity growth. So these are specific things. At makikita ninyo, itong mga initiatives na to, ang umpisa niya palagi ay action verb. Like sa financial, reduce cost, increase profits, increase revenue. So customer, improve customer experience, increase awareness, internal business process, improve external efficiency, increase acquisitions, increase consulting, improve product service, learning and growth, increase employee expertise, optimize technology, optimize human capital, improve thought leadership. So yun po. So yung first workshop natin, pinapa-identify lang natin ano yung in-extract nila na strategic pathway. Ito po yung A, B, C, D, E galing dun sa objective 3 tsaka dun sa problem 3. That is workshop number 1. Okay, so we will have several of these strategic pathways. And then in workshop number 2, we will ask them, okay, gawa kayo ng strategy diagram, gaya po ng diagram na to, identifying what are the financial, customer, internal business process, and learning and growth things that you need to achieve that strategic pathway. So, after doing these exercises, makita natin na meron tayong comprehensive consolidated problem tree owned by everybody. We have converted that into an objective tree owned by everybody. Now, stakeholders try to identify what is it that you are in the best position to do. Ito na po yung strategic pathways. O, na-identify na nila. Anong gagawin natin ngayon sa strategic pathways na yan? Ito susunod, identify natin what are the things that need to be done. Okay? So, reduce cost, increase profit. Ngayon, pag gusto po natin na bring this down further, makikita natin na each of these initiatives can be projectized. Each one is a project. Like, to reduce cost is a project that requires a project team, maybe a plan, a budget, and so on. So, ang susunod naman po niyan, kung gusto natin i-drill down, ay gagamit na po tayo ng logical objectives framework. Pero, for our exercise, for our national workshop, dalawa lang po kailangan natin gawin. Ito yung A, B, C, D, E, strategic pathways na kinuha doon sa objective 3 at identifying the initiatives at the financial, customer, internal business process, and learning and growth that are needed to actualize or operationalize that strategic pathway. So yan po ang gusto nating mangyari doon sa ating national conference. And then yung ating mga facilitators will help us come up with these two outputs, the strategic pathway and the strategy diagram. Yan po. And we are going to use a mural so that very visual yung paggawa natin ng mga outputs na to, and we can share this with everybody when we do the reports so that they can see what we've done. Okay, so yan po ang presentation ko na sunod doon sa in-explain ni Doc Ludi kanina.
Thank you very much po, Sir Doy. Do we have questions po from our panelists and our attendees? Kung may clarification po tayo sa na-present ni Sir Doy and ni Ma'am Ludi.
Yeah, just points for clarification, Doy. Can you hear me, Doy?
Yes, I can hear you. That's
Yeah. I think the problem tree and the solution tree are very powerful tools, I'm just wondering, is the time allotted sufficient to apply the tools? That's just listening to you and all that, knowing that the tools are powerful, is the time allotted sufficient? Number 2, I looked at the program. Perhaps there must be a portion, even if only 10 minutes, for a formal organization of the multi-stakeholders, so that when we end, there's already a group that's organized. And from among the people and groups in the, halo-halo multi-stakeholders, we can identify some sort of a steering committee. So those 2 points, the time allotted and organization. Thank you.
Yes. Well, ang sagot doon, yung problem tree saka yung objective tree, talagang napakahirap gawin yan. Kaya nga inabot kami ng 2 buwan to finalize it. The good news is that hindi na natin uulitin yung problem tree. We already have the problem tree. We already have the objective tree. Di ba? So, ipipresent lang natin sa kanila yan. dahil doon sa pinagdaanan na inputs niyan, palagay ko wala namang violent objections diyan. Kung meron magsasabing, kulang yan, sige, dagdag natin immediately. Okay? So I don't think that's going to spend too much time. And then, yung pag-identify ng strategic pathway, pag nakikita mo yung problem tree, alin dyan ang para sa national government agencies? Ano ang pwedeng gawin ng private sector? Oh, by the way, pwede rin natin basagin yun. Di ba? Like DNR can have one problem tree that is different from DOT tourism. Di ba? From DILG. Pwede yun. I don't know whether we want to go that deep na each agency will have its own problem tree. Pero dapat nga, eventually, ganun yun eh. Yung mga SUCs naman, there can be a generic SUC strategic pathway, pero some SUCs might want to say, mas meron kaming engineer, malakas kami sa engineering, di ba? So, sasabihin nila, ito yung aming strategic pathway. SUC, engineering-oriented strategic pathway. Sabi naman nung isang SUC, social science kami. We are good in culture. So, what I'm saying is that yung strategic pathways, we can do that. I think we are allotting something like 40 minutes for that. And I think identifying kung ano yung string of objectives mo, I think we can do that easily. So, the answer there is we are not starting from scratch. We are going to adapt the problem tree na pinresent ni Doc Luli. Yun.
And then,
But yung idea mo na we should already more or less formally organize, maganda yan actually. So, that is something we should discuss now. Kasi we don't want coming up with temporary organizations for workshop purposes. Pagkatapos ng workshop, wala na, di ba? I think that's the worry of Cesar. We want this to be able to be continued into the next steps. So, siluli.
So ngayon, we're trying to get names yung mga dadating sa workshop, yung mga confirmed na dadating, may mga LGUs, andyan na may mga inimbita ang Pampanga and Bulacan, DOST, sila ang bahala sa pag-iimbita doon. I think we will have a good representation at least from Pampanga and Bulacan. But we need the inputs of others dito. Kaya siguro sa registration, nakalagay naman doon kung anong sektor. Sa registration pa lang, ilalagay na natin yung siguro ilalagay na natin yung mga workshop groups na pwedeng salihan. Dapat mag-sign up na sila kung ano gusto nilang group.
I think doon sa strategic pathways, let's have the 4 or 5 major stakeholders, but if the agencies themselves are willing to come up with their strategic pathways within the larger group, I think we should allow them. Kasi ibig sabihin, mas kabisado nila kung ano yung gusto nilang gawin. And it might also demonstrate the diversity of strategic pathways that we can make.
Is this hybrid? So people can attend by Zoom or you have to be there in person?
Hybrid.
Okay, sige. So, pati yung workshops hybrid din, ano?
Yes,
Just to force through a point, I was hoping Glenn would be here, But I look upon Glenn as one major technical expert on water, So, I'm wondering, perhaps, I was hoping, but baka wala ng time, if he can give a quick, at the start of the seminar, a quick overview of the water flow. Hindi na yung hydrological cycle per se, but the concerns which the citizen and civil society must know, Let's say, like linking it to the nuded forests or blocked water pathways, So, because we might have the strategic pathways, pero we might miss out. We might miss out on certain important activities. So I'm just wondering, I'm assuming Glenn will be there on the 28th.
Yes.
Maganda sana if at the early part, magsingit tayo maski 10 or 15 minutes wherein he gives an overview from a technical hydrologist water expert on the concerns which must be known by the citizen and by civil society. Para sa ganon, walang ma-miss out. Walang ma-miss out. Thank you.
What what we want to do is have infographics, bawat grupo, may set of infographics. Well, meron na silang bawat grupo, andyan yung problem tree, andyan yung solutions tree, tsaka dapat may mapa ng watershed ng Central Luzon, yung Pampanga and Bulacan. And then maybe a diagram nga on tungkol dito sa yung water cycle or sa
Yeah, just drive home the point. At the end of the day, when we're ending the conference workshop, baka there might be a feeling we might have missed something. While everyone will be actively participating in the workshops, pero yun nga, at the end of the day, some important activities, components might be missed out there. So, ang feeling ko, it's Glenn and whoever there must be a smaller group say, malala yan, meron kayong namimiss.
I'll talk to Glenn about this. Ruben, you've been raising your hand. Commute ka pa.
Teka.
Okay,
Yeah.
we can hear you now. We can hear you.
You can hear me now?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, we can hear you.
Okay. First of all, ang ganda naman ng presentation ninyo, kaya lang I find it very complicated. But there are so many points which Cesar mentioned, and I think they should be taken into consideration. Ngayon, habang kayo nag-present, ako lungkot na lungkot sapagkat ako ay bata ako, victim kami niyang flood sa Marikina. Ang aming bahay inaabot hanggang second floor Kaya ang mga kasangkapan namin nalulunod, etc. etc. So I think for those who have that kind of experience, it will be something that they will value the kind of presentation that you make. But I strongly suggest that Glenn should be a part of the team to show yung tubig. Yun ang napakahalaga noon
Oo. Kasama namin siya. Oo.
Palagay ko dapat bigyan ng pansin yun. Especially, kung sabagay, medyo malaki na ang pinagbago doon sa Marikina, hindi katulad nung araw, mas grabe. Ngayon, it is a lot better, but still, those who are staying in the low-lying areas ay nagsasuffer pa. Again, congratulations again sa napakaganda ninyong presentation. Thank you very much.
So si Glenn has been absent lang siya ngayon, pero doon sa mga workshops namin, siya very active. At saka sa mga Zoom meetings, nagko-contribute siya talaga. And siya ang aming water guru.
Yeah, Luli,
Oo.
maybe following up on the suggestion of Cesar, we can have so yung problem tree is now a diagram. Okay. Now, maybe we need a 15-minute presentation of the problem tree from the scientific point of view, and Glenn can tell us, i-interpret niya yung problem tree in terms of yung pinatubo, yung watershed, yung excessive abstraction. And then we can also have another, maybe 15 minutes then from the behavioral point of view. Bakit ganyan ang mga tao? Bakit alam na nilang flooded nagtatayo pa sila ng bahay dyan? Di ba? Yung mga OFWs, pag umuwi sila, nagtatayo pa rin sila ng mga mansion in those communities that are flooded. So there are some sociocultural aspects that are in play here. So because hindi naman nakita ng ating mga audience natin yung nakita natin through the workshops, maybe one way of encapsulating those insights are have a science-based presentation of the problem tree and a behavior-based presentation of the same problem tree. And siguro yon. Maybe si Glenn o kaya si Greg Del Pilar o kaya sina yung mga taga Pampanga mismo might be able to do that. And then so that they will understand why we are doing this workshop. Baka kasi hindi nga sila makasunod.
Oo. Pero ang mangyayari sa atin kasi yung presentation about yung video about the process, video about the scientific inputs, sa hapon yun before the panel discussion. We're assuming that yung mag-a-attend sa umaga, karamihan sa kanila naka-attend ng ating workshop. Dati, although may mga hindi pa. But,
so we need to check kung totoo yung assumption natin, then hindi natin kailangan yan. But if let's say hindi nila na-appreciate yung ginawa natin, and they will be totally in the dark. And so that is something we need to check. Si Dr. Villarreal has a comment, I think.
Yes.
You're muted.
Hindi na, tumatas pa kamay ko. Hindi, nire-review ko yung sinabi niyo
Okay.
Thank you. Nagkakaroon ako, tinitignan ko, gusto ko magkaroon ng clarification
Yeah. But Luli, if we make that presentation, baka magandang dun sa front natin ilagay yon yung mga scientific na sinasabi mo na video para it becomes an input into the workshop.
You know, the thing kasi yung mga discussion, yung panel discussion natin sa hapon. And we want them, yung mga nasa panelists, to understand itong mga nangyari na. Although, we are sending them the concept, a note, the program, and then yung presentation ko, I'm send, yung PPTs, PowerPoints, I've sent them to the president of UP, to CP David, yung sa mga magiging panelists natin, we're sending them yung mga materials na yon. Ewan lang kung tignan nila.
How long are these background presentations kaya?
Yung background presentation natin is 40 minutes. 10 minutes na video na gagawin ni Che. I-explain din niya yung problem 3. Sila Che. Kiambao of Pampanga. Then yung scientific inputs, ang gumagawa ng video, ang UPRI, sila Mahar Lagmay. And yung mga, they're putting together clips from the scientific presentations. Tapos, and then merong, I thought, may 10 minutes, kailangan ma-present kasi doon sa panelist yung resulta nung previous nung morning workshop. Oo. So I don't know kung kaya yun ng 10 minutes kasi 10-minute dalawang 10-minute videos, 20 minutes na yun. Meron pa tayong another 20 minutes. And then results of the workshop ng umaga ang magpipresent, we said na magpipresent yung taga-NEDA, yung regional director ng NEDA 3. Kasi naintindihan, di ba, diniscuss na yan talaga ng todo doon sa NEDA.
Saan gagawin to?
PICC.
Okay.
Oo, you're all invited. Oo, kaya lang, tinanong ko yung NAST, kanina, hindi pa pala pinapadala ng NAST yung invitation. Sabi niya, tuloy ba ang event? Sabi ko, kasi akala nila hindi ma-approve yung yung budget. Sabi ko, we've always worked on the premise na tuloy ang event. And tuloy naman. Kaya sorry na lang kung hindi pa nakarating sa inyo hanggang ngayon. But all who are here, you're invited. And Paul, ipadala natin sa kanila yung mga concept paper, a concept note, the program, And kahit yung aking PPT, so they'll see kung ano na nagawa.
Yes po. May questions pa po ba tayo from our panelists?
Meron sa Q&A, apat.
Magkano daw ang registration fee, sabi ni Leo?
Wala pong registration fee. Ano ito? Project ito, supported by DOST. And the forum is on November 28 sa PICC. And Doy, there's a question. And maybe, what software are you using for project management, for asset management, for social networking, for database management?
Hi, Ike. Maganda yung tanong mo. At actually, yung project management, yung asset management, social networking for database management, these are already for the accounts of individual organizations. We are not at the multi-sectoral conferencing level. Wala pa tayo dyan. Pero yung log frame na gagamitin natin, eventually that needs to be converted into a project plan by the people who will be working on that. Hopefully there will be a window for funding, di ba? I don't know whether these projects can be internally funded by their organizations. Total, meron namang mga budget yan, yung mga RDC, mga probinsya, mga munisipyo, mga NGOs. But hopefully there is some money that can be made available to fund some of these strategic pathways na lalo na yung mga NGOs. So, but once we, actually, Ike, tama yan, yung Project Libre is what we are actually promoting because it's free software. So don't worry if we get asked to go to the level of project management, project design, planning, and management. We will offer that as one of the options. And we can also provide training on the use of Project Libre. So very good suggestion.
Mm-hmm. Then the question about time. Registration is at 7:30. Start of the conference is 8:30.
Okay. So, sino yung ating mga facilitators who are supposed to be with us here?
Ewan ko kung sino pa. We asked them to attend, but sabi namin na this is recorded, ipapadala natin itong recording of this meeting.
Okay.
Sa lahat ng facilitators. Kasama dyan sila Glenn, si Benny Pacheco, Alvin Culaba, si Rio Dokusin ng NRCP, sila Che, si Tessa of DOST 3, si Tessa of NEDA 3. Yun, sila mga facilitators. And then we will also have what we call as roving consultants.
Okay.
So in case may tanong sila, there will be itong we will prepare parang a page ando ng mga consultants, expertise nila.
Yang si Ike Sinieres, dapat imbitahin natin yan kasi matagal na siya nag-join ng ating mga SDG Hour. I know him personally, so I would like to extend an invitation so we can see him. Palagay ko makakatulong yan kasi techie din yan techie.
Yes, oo. And Paul, di ba yung mga nag-a-attend dito, pinadala niyo invitation? Sila?
Magsisend out pa lang din po kasi isi-set up pa lang po natin yung Zoom link for the conference.
Oo. Sige, paki-set up na and we should send it Tuesday na kasi.
Yeah.
Yes po.
Okay, si Doc M. Si Doc
Hello,
M.
magandang hapon sa lahat.
Magandang hapon
Medyo
po.
naguluhan ako ng konti. It's a bit complicated or complex ito. No? So, Ma'am Loli, so you mean there will be several groups
Oo, sa workshop.
sa workshop. And each group is comprised of individuals coming from different fields. Mamimili yung participants kung saan group nila gustong salihan. Am I right, ma'am?
Yung group po na sinuggest ni Doy is apat ba yun o 5, Doy? What are those groups?
National government, general categories pa lang yan. National government, local government, civil society, meaning NGOs and private sector, and then SUCs. But then, from this general, we can have maybe 3 within, depending on whether they have enough members. Like if there are, let's say, national government, pagkatapos sabi ng DNR, meron kami 5 tao dito, we can form a subgroup. So we are going to make the DNR strategic pathway. Uy, welcome yan. Sabi naman ng Department of Tourism, meron kami 10 tao dyan. So, yun. There will be another strategic pathway by DOTR. And then when they present it, ika-categorize natin ng national government, local government. Yung sa local government, for instance, I imagine Bulacan and Pampanga will come up with their separate strategic pathways. Or maybe San Fernando City. So, yun. We are encouraging groups and subgroups to do this because we are illustrating that all of these can be convergent eventually.
So, at the end of the day, or workshop, each group will be presenting its proposals or results.
Yes, yes.
And since ang dami nito, will there be an attempt to consolidate yung mga nila, mga results ng o mga proposals ng mga different groups na ito, which originally 4, pero as you have said, within dumami. And there were and also may possibility of subgroups. So ang dami yan, ang daming proposals or recommendations. So my question is, manong bang plan to consolidate para isa na lang yung isasubmit ng grupo ni Ma'am Luli, whoever yung mga government agencies na pagbibigyan niya itong result ng workshops or study. Kasi kung individual, ang dami yan. So dapat the consolidation of all these results ng different groups. Tama ba ako, ma'am?
Tama yon. Actually, yung problem 3 nga, ang dami niyan. Ang nag-consolidate niyan, nagkaroon kami ng Zoom meetings, ang finally nag-consolidate na lahat si Doy.
So itong workshop, ma'am, so there will be ang dami namang ideas na naman dito na lalabas or recommendations.
Yeah.
So another consolidation na naman.
Oo. So there will be a series of Zoom meetings uli after this.
Yeah. Okay.
But Doc M, doon sa workshop mismo, so hindi ba, let's say, nagkaroon ng subgroup meetings and then nagkaroon ng 12 strategic pathways. Di ba?
Yes.
And 12 strategic pathways clustered in 4 major groups. Okay. Ang gagawin nila, ipopost nila yan as visuals. These are diagrams that they are going to post into our mural. So parang whiteboard yan na online, makikita natin yung 12. Okay? Then we will ask the participants, we are going to give you 3 votes each. Okay? Tignan ninyo yung 12 na strategic pathways and the strategy diagrams, and then you vote for those that you think are so interesting they need to be presented in plenary. Yon. So So everybody looks at the 12 and they vote for 3. And then yung top 3 na binoto nila, yun lang ang magpipresent. Pero all of those diagrams will be available to everybody. But because we don't have time, sasampulan natin on the most liked strategy diagrams. Yun lang ipipresent natin doon sa discussion, doon sa presentation of reports. Kasi mawala tayo ng time. But as Doc Luli says, down the road, we will be able to consolidate those. But premature if we try to consolidate them now kasi at the moment, we are simply trying to appreciate the biodiversity ng ating mga strategic pathways.
So
Kasi yun din yung isa din yung worry ko dyan na one day would not be sufficient to come up with consolidated report or outcome.
Yes.
Ng
Tama yan. This should be a 3-day national summit pero we are 2 days short of money.
Okay. So, pero pala problema. Saan pupunta yung final report?
Yun.
Saan pupunta yan, Doy?
Well,
Report.
we are going to come up with the workshop reports. So biodiversity of strategic pathways and diagrams. Then this will be semi-processed by our panels. So they will give us some top level reactions. Ito yung mga funding agencies natin di ba? These are the people in government. So we will get a sense from them. Gusto ba ninyo yung method? Are there any specific strategic pathways or objectives that you want to highlight? You might say, popuntuhan namin yan. So all of that information, we will consolidate in a final report and flow it back to everybody who attended and all of the people that we worked with, yung mga SUC sa Pampanga. Because pag nagtawag tayo ng susunod na workshop, maybe it is more about yung sinasabi na, sige, let's turn them into project proposals. Diba? Convergent project proposals. So pag sabay-sabay na na-approve yan and they are all convergent, baka may mangyaring alignment or impact. So yon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ang NEDA Region 3 is organizing sa November 30 a regional consultation sa the RDC with the Regional Development Council. Meron na namang meeting sa San Fernando yung para sa Pampanga, Bulacan and the Central Luzon. Para pag-usapan yan tungkol sa flooding na yan, yung resulta nitong magiging nasa national conference para matignan kung ano ba ang next steps.
Hey, Luli, you forgot to tell them about how we already introduced this approach to Region 11. We were there the other week.
Yes, we were in Tagum City. We introduced this approach and they want to continue. They want to, mag-a-attend sila. Paul, bigyan natin sila ng Zoom link, yung mga taga Davao region. Kasi gusto nilang sundan din yung proseso in tungkol doon sa flooding water problems nila sa Davao. Yung approach, gusto nilang masundan din para ma-analyze nila ng gusto yung problema.
Oo.
God bless us all.
Doon sa problema nila doon, rampaging rivers. Hindi lang flooding.
Do we already have rapporteurs and secretaries for the different workshops?
Ayan.
Si Doc Luli, meron siyang 2 angels, saka meron siyang isang gladiator.
No, kasi I suggest we already have them designated beforehand. Kung hindi, 15-20 minutes, mamimili lang sila So,
sige, okay.
So
Rapporteurs.
bawat grupo will have a rapporteur at saka may leader na pag-organize nila. Yun na nga, it will take time then to organize the group. Pero, yun namang strategic pathway, parang mas madali naman gawin yun kasi doon sa framework.
Yeah. So, yeah. The first exercise, strategic pathway, madali lang yun. Mas mahirap yung strategy diagram where you identify the tasks that are needed to be done. So, yeah, tama yun. Let's already identify this will be happening in breakout rooms, so we can already automatically record everything there. So
andun lang sila sa isang room, silang lahat.
Yeah, but if other people are joining online, I mean, they will be physically in the same room, but they might be in different breakout rooms. I mean, for Zoom
groups
purposes.
Sila,
For Zoom purposes. So in other words, even while they are face-to-face doon, they must also be in Zoom breakout rooms. Para yung mga members nila na nasa online will be able to participate and we will be able to record everything. So everybody should have their own computers. Naku, yan ang kailangan nating emphasize.
At least each group should have 2 computers siguro. We'll have to tell the participants magdala ng computers.
Okay, I think that pretty much covers everything we wanted to say. And this is on record, so our rapporteurs can review the video. And okay, closing remarks na si Doc Luli.
There's a note from Ike Señeres. Ito, may link, Doy.
Yes.
Are you familiar with that?
Ike, ano itong link mo? Is this a soft? I'm looking at it now. So it's a software. It's a software that is recommending. Okay, we'll look into this, see how we can actually choose which one we need, if we need a software eventually, and whether it's something that we can fund or NAS can fund.
Yeah. Ito, merong suggestion. Leo Hernandez.
Yeah.
Send summary by email. Sige. But if
Dr.
not,
Villarreal, kailangan natin ng isang gabaldon dito. A philanthropist that will fund our endeavors for future Earth.
Oo nga. Kaya meron tayo talagang nakakariwasang tutulong sa atin.
Oo, kailangan may champion tayo.
Okay.
Please join us face to face if you can. If not, kahit Zoom.
Okay.
So, maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat sa inyong mga inputs and suggestions. So,
okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
And po, before we end the session po, we would just like to emphasize yung invitation to all our panelists and our attendees to please, if you want to join physically, mag-send na lang po ng email through the email na sinend po namin sa chat box. And we'll be also sending the Zoom link via the list po, the email list na pinapadalhan namin ng emails for the SDG Action Hour. So again, this is an invitation for the National Conference on Exploring the Water Futures of the Philippines on November 28 at the Philippine International Convention Center. Ayun po. Thank you very much po.
Ayan, sige. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ay, salamat, May.
Oo.
Punta kayo doon.
Congratulations,
Join us,
pero talagang
PICC.
mahirap ang ginagawa nyo na ito. No,
Napasukan.
oo, we'll be talking to local LGUs, no, 'di ba?
Oo.
Tsaka so siguro yun ding 'di ba ngayon ang bahang-baha Katarman. So
Oo.
talagang siguro